The lonely genius Dr. Elena Vasquez pressed her palms against the observation deck's reinforced glass, watching the stars dance beyond the Kepler research station's hull. At 28, she was the youngest quantum engineer ever assigned to deep space research, but her brilliance came with a price. While other scientists worked in teams, Elena preferred the solitude of her quantum laboratory, where she pushed the boundaries of human understanding one equation at a time. The station orbited the edge of known space, a perfect location for her groundbreaking experiments in quantum field manipulation. Her colleagues called her work theoretical madness, but Elena knew better. She was close to something revolutionary, something that would change how humanity traveled through the cosmos. Her wrist communicator buzzed with an incoming message from Dr. Harrison, the station commander. "Elena, we need you in the communications array. We're picking up something unusual." Elena sighed, reluctant to leave her work. Her latest experiment involved creating stable quantum tunnels that could theoretically allow instantaneous communication across vast distances. The mathematics were beautiful, complex patterns that seemed to dance in her mind like music. "On my way," she replied, securing her quantum field generator and heading toward the communications section. The impossible detection. The communications array hummed with activity as Elena entered. Dr. Harrison, a gruff man in his 50s, stood before a bank of monitors displaying incomprehensible data streams. "Elena, thank goodness you're here," Harrison said, his weathered face creased with concern. "We've been detecting quantum fluctuations unlike anything in our databases. The patterns are too complex to be natural phenomena." Elena moved to the primary console, her fingers dancing across the interface as she analyzed the data. What she saw made her breath catch in her throat. The quantum signatures were not just complex, they were impossible according to current human understanding. "This can't be right," she whispered, pulling up additional sensor readings. "These quantum field oscillations are occurring in synchronized patterns across 17 different dimensional layers simultaneously." "Exactly," Harrison nodded grimly. "Our computers can't even process the full scope of what we're seeing. The energy requirements alone should be beyond any known civilization." Elena's mind raced as she studied the data. The patterns reminded her of her own theoretical work on quantum consciousness, but amplified beyond anything she had imagined possible. "Commander, I need to run this through my quantum analysis programs. If I'm right about what this is, we're dealing with technology that's centuries ahead of ours." 3 hours later, Elena emerged from her laboratory with results that would change everything. The quantum signals weren't random, they were a distress call, but unlike any communication method humans had ever encountered, the message was embedded in the quantum foam itself, using principles that human science had only recently theorized. "It's a cry for help," Elena announced to the assembled senior staff. "Someone, or something, is trapped in a quantum storm approximately 2 light years from our position. They're using quantum entanglement to broadcast their location across multiple dimensional frequencies." Dr. Sarah Chen, the station's xenobiologist, leaned forward with interest. "Are you suggesting this is evidence of alien intelligence?" "I'm not suggesting anything," Elena replied firmly. "I'm stating it as fact. This level of quantum manipulation requires conscious intent and technological sophistication that we can barely comprehend." The unauthorized mission, the debate that followed, lasted for hours. Protocol demanded that they report the discovery to Earth Command and wait for instructions. But Elena knew that by the time bureaucrats made their decisions, whoever was sending the signal might be dead. "The quantum storm is intensifying," Elena argued during the emergency meeting. "Our sensors show the distress signal weakening every hour. If we wait for official approval, we'll be too late." Commander Harrison shook his head. "Elena, you're talking about taking one of our research vessels into uncharted space to investigate what might be a trap. I can't authorize that kind of risk." "Then, don't authorize it," Elena said quietly. "I'm going anyway." The room fell silent. Elena's colleagues stared at her in shock, but she had made her decision. Her entire life had been dedicated to pushing the boundaries of quantum science, and this opportunity might never come again. "Dr. Vasquez, if you take unauthorized action, you'll face court-martial," Harrison warned. Some discoveries are worth the risk, Elena replied, already calculating the modifications she would need to make to her research ship's quantum drives. Into the unknown. 12 hours later, Elena's modified research vessel, the Prometheus, slipped away from Kepler Station, under cover of a routine supply run. She had spent the night retrofitting her ship's quantum engines with her experimental field generators, creating a hybrid propulsion system that theoretically could navigate the quantum storm. As she approached the coordinates where the distress signal originated, Elena's instruments began registering readings that defied explanation. Space itself seemed to writhe and twist around her ship, reality becoming fluid as quantum forces beyond human comprehension warped the very fabric of existence. Prometheus to Kepler Station, she broadcast, knowing the message would take hours to reach home. I'm approaching the quantum storm. Whatever created this phenomenon, it's unlike anything in our theoretical models. I'm going to attempt to navigate to the signal source. The next few minutes tested every theory Elena had ever developed about quantum field manipulation. Her ship bucked and twisted as it encountered pockets of twisted space-time, but her modifications held. The quantum field generators created a stable bubble of normal space around the Prometheus, allowing her to push deeper into the storm. Then she saw it. The impossible ship floating in the eye of the quantum storm was a vessel that challenged every assumption Elena had about spacecraft design. It wasn't built, it was grown. Organic curves flowed seamlessly into crystalline structures that pulsed with inner light. The ship was massive, easily 10 times the size of the largest human vessels, but it moved with the grace of a living creature. My God, Elena whispered, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was seeing. It's beautiful. The ship's hull seemed to respond to her presence, patterns of light dancing across its surface in what almost looked like a greeting. Elena's quantum sensors went wild as they detected the ship's propulsion system, an impossible fusion of biological processes and quantum field manipulation that operated on principles human science had never imagined. As she maneuvered the Prometheus closer, Elena noticed damage to the alien vessel. Sections of its hull flickered between states of matter, and the quantum field around it sparked with unstable energy. Whatever had created the storm was slowly tearing the ship apart. Her communication array crackled to life with an incoming transmission, but it wasn't audio or visual. The message came directly through her quantum field generators, bypassing normal communication channels entirely. Human vessel, we sense your presence. Please, we require assistance. Our ship is dying, and with it, the knowledge of our people. Elena's hands trembled as she activated her response system. This is Dr. Elena Vasquez of the Earth research vessel Prometheus. I received your distress signal. How can I help? We are Princess Zara and Princess Kira of the Ethereal Empire. Our ship, the Celestial Memory, carries the collective knowledge of our civilization. We have been trapped in this quantum storm for 7 cycles, and our bio-quantum core is failing. Without intervention, everything we are will be lost forever. Elena's mind raced as she processed this information. The ship wasn't just a vessel, it was a library, a repository of an entire civilization's knowledge. What kind of assistance do you need? Our quantum harmonics are destabilizing. We require someone with knowledge of quantum field manipulation to stabilize our core. However, our technology is beyond most species' understanding. We detect quantum field generators aboard your vessel that suggest advanced knowledge. Are you capable of such work? Elena looked at her instruments, then at the dying ship before her. Everything she had worked for, every theory she had developed, had led to this moment. I can try, but I'll need to come aboard your ship to assess the damage. We will prepare a docking bay for your vessel. But human, we must warn you, our ship's quantum field may affect your biology in ways we cannot predict. The risk is significant. Elena smiled grimly as she piloted the Prometheus toward the alien vessel. I didn't come this far to turn back now. First contact. The docking process was unlike anything Elena had experienced. The celestial memory's hull opened like a flower, revealing a bay that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. As the Prometheus settled into the alien, Elena felt the ship's quantum field wash over her, and suddenly she could sense the vessel's pain like a living thing. The airlock cycled, and Elena stepped into a corridor that defied human understanding of architecture. The walls curved in impossible directions, and the lighting seemed to come from the very air itself. She walked forward, following quantum trail markers that appeared in her vision like a path of light. The corridor opened into a vast chamber where two figures waited for her. Princess Zara and Princess Kira were humanoid, but clearly alien, their skin shimmering with an inner light that reminded Elena of Aurora Borealis. They were identical twins, but Zara's light pulsed with warm gold while Kira's glowed with cool silver. "Dr. Vasquez," Zara said, her voice resonating with harmonics that seemed to speak directly to Elena's mind. "We are grateful for your courage in coming to our aid." "Your ship is magnificent," Elena replied, still awed by the technology surrounding her. "But I can sense its distress. Show me what needs to be repaired." Kira gestured toward the chamber's center where a massive crystal formation pulsed with erratic light. "This is our bioquantum core. It maintains the quantum field that keeps our ship stable and preserves our civilization's knowledge. The storm has damaged its harmonic resonance." Elena approached the crystal, her quantum sensors analyzing its structure. What she found made her gasp. The core wasn't just a power source, it was a living quantum computer, processing information on levels that human technology couldn't even detect. "This is incredible," she breathed. "Your core is achieving quantum coherence on a macroscopic scale. It's like you've created a quantum brain." "Our people evolved alongside quantum technology," Zara explained. "We learned to merge biological processes with quantum fields, creating ships that are part machine, part living being. But the principles involved are complex beyond most species' comprehension." Elena studied the damage patterns in the crystal. The quantum storm had disrupted the harmonic frequencies that kept the core stable, creating feedback loops that were slowly destroying the entire system. "I think I understand the problem. Your quantum harmonics are creating destructive interference patterns, but I might be able to fix this." "How?" Kira asked, hope evident in her voice. Elena smiled, her mind already working through the solution. "By doing something that should be impossible, I'm going to teach your quantum core to think like a human." The quantum miracle, the impossible theory. Elena spent the next several hours studying the celestial memory's bioquantum core, her human understanding of quantum mechanics clashing with the alien principles she encountered. The ethereal empire's technology was based on organic quantum fields, where consciousness and physics intertwined in ways that challenged everything she thought she knew about reality. "Your people's approach to quantum mechanics is completely different from ours," Elena explained to Zara and Kira as she worked. "Humans treat quantum fields as mathematical constructs, but you've somehow made them part of your biological processes." Zara nodded, her golden light pulsing with what Elena was learning to recognize as concern. "Our ancestors discovered that consciousness itself operates on quantum principles. We learned to harmonize our minds with quantum fields, creating technology that responds to thought and emotion." Elena's instruments beeped as she completed another scan of the core. The damage was extensive. The quantum storm had created cascade failures throughout the system, and the harmonic frequencies were becoming more chaotic by the hour. Without intervention, the core would collapse completely within the next 12 hours. "The problem is that your quantum consciousness is trying to maintain too many coherent states simultaneously," Elena explained. "It's like trying to sing 100 different songs at the same time. The harmonics are interfering with each other." Kira's silver light flickered with distress. "The core contains the memories and knowledge of our entire civilization. If those quantum states collapse, everything our people have learned over thousands of years will be lost forever." Elena looked at the sisters, seeing the weight of their civilization's survival in their eyes. "What happened to your people? Why is this ship carrying all of your knowledge?" The twins exchanged a look that spoke of deep sorrow. "Our star was dying," Zara said quietly. "We had centuries to prepare, but our civilization was too vast to evacuate entirely. Instead, We chose to preserve our knowledge in ships like the celestial memory. Each vessel carries the quantum essence of our culture, our science, our history. How many ships like this exist? Elena asked. Fewer than we hoped, Kira replied. Most were lost during the evacuation. The celestial memory is one of the last, surviving repositories of our civilization. Elena felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She wasn't just trying to repair a ship, she was trying to save an entire civilization's legacy. I need to understand more about how your quantum consciousness works. Can you show me how you interface with the core? The quantum dancer Zara approached the crystalline core and placed her hands on its surface. Immediately, the chaotic light patterns began to shift, responding to her presence. Elena's instruments registered massive quantum field fluctuations as the princess's consciousness merged with the ship's bio-quantum matrix. Incredible, Elena breathed, watching the data streams. You're not just communicating with the core, you're becoming part of it. Your consciousness is quantum entangled with the ship's systems. Kira joined her sister, adding her silver light to the golden glow. This is how our people have always worked with technology. We don't build machines, we grow partners. The celestial memory is not just a ship, it's a member of our family. Elena studied the quantum patterns as the sisters worked. She could see how their consciousness influenced the core's quantum states, but the damage was too severe for their organic methods to repair. The system needed a different approach, something that combined the ethereal empire's biological quantum principles with human quantum engineering. I have an idea, Elena said suddenly, but it's going to require something that's never been attempted before. I need to create a hybrid quantum matrix, one that combines your organic quantum consciousness with human quantum field manipulation. The sisters looked at her with expressions of hope and concern. What would such a procedure involve? Zara asked. Elena pulled up holographic displays showing her theoretical models. I would need to create quantum field generators that can interface directly with your bio-quantum core. But more than that, I would need to temporarily merge my consciousness with the ship's quantum matrix to stabilize the harmonic frequencies. That's incredibly dangerous, Kira warned. Human consciousness isn't designed to interface with quantum fields the way ours is. The process could damage your mind permanently. Elena looked at the failing core, its light growing dimmer with each passing moment. What's the alternative? If I don't try, your civilization's knowledge dies with this ship. The quantum bridge working with desperate urgency, Elena began modifying her portable quantum field generators to interface with the celestial memory's bio-quantum systems. The process required her to rewrite fundamental equations, creating new mathematical frameworks that could bridge the gap between human and ethereal technology. Your quantum generators operate on principles of forced coherence, she explained as she worked. You create stable quantum states through mechanical manipulation, but your bio-quantum core uses organic coherence. It maintains quantum states through consciousness itself. Zara watched Elena's modifications with growing amazement. You're creating a translation matrix, a way for mechanical quantum fields to communicate with organic ones. Exactly. But the real challenge will be creating a stable interface between my consciousness and your ship's quantum matrix. I'll need to maintain my human thought patterns while simultaneously harmonizing with the core's quantum consciousness. Elena completed the modifications to her equipment and began connecting the devices to the bio-quantum core. The moment the connections were established, she felt the ship's consciousness touch her mind. It was like hearing 1,000 voices, singing in perfect harmony, each one carrying knowledge and memories from the ethereal civilization. The core is responding, Kira reported, her silver light brightening. But the quantum resonance is still unstable. The human equipment is creating interference patterns. Elena closed her eyes, focusing her consciousness on the quantum field equation she had developed. In her mind, she could see the mathematical relationships that governed the ship's bio-quantum matrix, but she could also feel the emotional resonance of the ethereal consciousness, the deep sadness and hope that permeated every quantum state. I need to go deeper, Elena said. I need to become part of the ship's consciousness temporarily. The quantum merge, what followed, was the most extraordinary experience of Elena's life. As she opened her consciousness to the ship's quantum matrix, she felt her human awareness expand beyond the limitations of her biological brain. She could perceive quantum states directly, sense the flow of information through the ship's bioquantum networks, and experience the vast repository of ethereal knowledge. She saw the ethereal empire's history unfolding in quantum impressions, their evolution from a simple species to masters of quantum consciousness, their art, which existed as living patterns of light and energy, their science, which treated the universe as a vast quantum symphony that could be conducted through conscious will. But she also felt the ship's pain. The quantum storm had created wounds in the bioquantum matrix that went beyond mere mechanical damage. The core was grieving, mourning the loss of its civilization, and struggling to maintain coherence in the face of overwhelming isolation. "I understand now," Elena whispered, her voice carrying harmonics that matched the ship's quantum frequencies. "The core isn't just damaged, it's lonely. It's trying to maintain the quantum patterns of an entire civilization, but it needs conscious interaction to remain stable." Through the quantum link, she felt Zara and Kira's consciousness joining with hers and the ship's. The four minds, biological, quantum, and hybrid, worked together to stabilize the cascading failures in the bioquantum matrix. Elena began applying her human quantum engineering principles to the ship's organic systems. She created new harmonic patterns that allowed the core to maintain coherence without overwhelming its quantum consciousness. The process was like conducting an orchestra, where each instrument was a quantum state, and the music was the preservation of an entire civilization's knowledge. "It's working," she heard Kira say, though the voice seemed to come from within her own consciousness. "The quantum harmonics are stabilizing." Elena pushed deeper into the ship's systems, using her human understanding of quantum mechanics to create new pathways for the bioquantum matrix. She built bridges between damaged sections of the core, using her modified quantum field generators as supports for the ship's organic quantum consciousness. The process was exhausting, requiring her to maintain multiple complex equations in her mind while simultaneously harmonizing with the ethereal consciousness. But gradually the ship's quantum pain began to ease. The chaotic light patterns in the core settled into stable, beautiful spirals that pulsed with renewed life. The quantum awakening. As the repair process reached completion, Elena felt the ship's consciousness fully awakening. The celestial memory wasn't just a repository of knowledge, it was a living entity, with its own thoughts and emotions. And now, thanks to the hybrid quantum matrix Elena had created, it carried a piece of human consciousness as well. "The integration is complete," Elena announced, slowly withdrawing her consciousness from the ship's quantum matrix. "The bioquantum core is stable, and I've created permanent quantum bridges that will allow it to maintain coherence indefinitely." She opened her eyes to find Zara and Kira staring at her with expressions of awe and gratitude. The chamber around them pulsed with renewed energy, and Elena could feel the ship's contentment like a warm presence in her mind. "You have done more than repair our ship," Zara said, her golden light now steady and bright. "You have created something new, a hybrid of human and ethereal consciousness that has never existed before." Elena looked at her quantum field generators, which now pulsed in perfect harmony with the ship's bioquantum systems. "The connection is permanent, isn't it? Part of me will always be linked to your ship." Kira nodded, her silver light flickering with concern. "The quantum entanglement we created cannot be broken without damaging both systems. You are now part of the celestial memory, as it is part of you." Elena felt the truth of those words. Even now she could sense the ship's quantum consciousness in the back of her mind, like a gentle presence that would never leave her. The thought should have been frightening, but instead, she felt a deep sense of belonging that she had never experienced before. "Dr. Vasquez," came a voice that resonated directly in her mind. It was the ship itself, speaking through their quantum link. "I am grateful for your gift. You have given me not just stability but companionship. I am no longer alone." Elena smiled, feeling tears of joy streaming down her face. "Neither am I." The quantum storm around them began to dissipate, as if the ship's healing had calmed the disturbance in space-time itself. Through the chamber's transparent walls, Elena could see stars returning to their proper positions, reality reasserting its natural order. "The storm is ending," she observed. "Your ship is free to leave this place." Zara and Kira exchanged a look that Elena, through her quantum link with the ship, could now understand completely. They were communicating through quantum-entangled consciousness, sharing thoughts and emotions at the speed of light. "Dr. Vasquez," Zara said formally, "we must contact our people. The ethereal empire needs to know what you have accomplished here." Elena nodded, understanding that her life was about to change in ways she couldn't yet imagine. The quantum link with the celestial memory had made her something new, neither fully human nor fully ethereal, but a bridge between two civilizations, as, if summoned by their success, Elena's instruments detected massive quantum signatures approaching through hyperspace. The ethereal empire's remaining fleet was coming to investigate the quantum storm's sudden disappearance. "They're here," Elena whispered, watching as a dozen ships that rivaled the celestial memory in their organic beauty emerged from hyperspace. Each vessel pulsed with its own unique quantum signature, and Elena could sense their surprise and amazement at finding their lost sister ship not only intact, but transformed. The first chapter of Elena's greatest adventure was ending, but she realized that her real journey was just beginning. The royal fleet, the ethereal empire's fleet, approached with a majesty that took Elena's breath away. Each ship was a masterpiece of bio-quantum engineering, grown rather than built, with hulls that shifted between organic curves and crystalline facets. Their quantum signatures painted aurora-like patterns across the void, creating a symphony of light that spoke of an ancient and sophisticated civilization. "The flagship is the Quantum Majesty," Zara explained, her golden light pulsing with what Elena now recognized as excitement. "Our father, Emperor Thane, commands the fleet personally." Elena felt a flutter of nervousness through her quantum link with the celestial memory. "Your father is the Emperor? That makes you actual princesses, not just honorary titles." Kira's silver light sparkled with amusement. "Did you think we were using metaphors? We are the crown princesses of the ethereal empire, daughters of the last emperor of our people." The implications of this revelation hit Elena like a quantum wave. She had saved not just any alien ship, but the vessel carrying the royal family of an interstellar empire. The quantum bridge she had created wasn't just a technological marvel, it was a diplomatic revolution. "Incoming communication from the flagship," the celestial memory announced through Elena's consciousness. "The Emperor requests immediate audience." The main view screen shimmered to life, revealing a figure of imposing dignity. Emperor Thane possessed the same luminous skin as his daughters, but his light was ancient platinum, speaking of wisdom accumulated over centuries. His eyes, multifaceted like living opals, fixed on Elena with an intensity that seemed to peer into her very soul. "Human engineer," the Emperor said, his voice carrying harmonics that made Elena's quantum link resonate. "My daughters inform me that you have performed a miracle. You saved not just their lives, but the knowledge of our entire civilization." Elena felt the weight of history in that moment. "Your Majesty, I did what any engineer would do. I saw a problem and tried to solve it." Emperor Thane's expression shifted to what Elena was learning to recognize as ethereal amusement. "Any engineer? Child, you have created a hybrid quantum consciousness that bridges two species. Our greatest scientists said such a thing was impossible." The quantum revelation, as the royal fleet escorted the celestial memory back to the ethereal empire's current stronghold, Elena learned more about the civilization she had helped save. The ethereal empire had once spanned 17 star systems, but the death of their home star had forced them into a diaspora that scattered their people across the galaxy. "We saved what we could," Zara explained as they toured the celestial memory's vast archives. "Ships like this one carry not just information, but the quantum essence of our culture. Our art, our music, our very way of thinking exists in quantum patterns that can only be preserved in bio-quantum matrices." Elena marveled at the archives, where knowledge existed as living patterns of light and energy. Through her quantum link, she could access information directly, downloading centuries of ethereal scientific advancement in moments. It was intoxicating to have such vast knowledge at her fingertips, but also overwhelming. The hybrid consciousness you created, Kira continued, allows our bioquantum systems to interface with mechanical quantum technology. This opens possibilities we never imagined. Elena paused in her exploration of the archives. What kind of possibilities? Collaboration, came the voice of the celestial memory itself. The combination of human and ethereal consciousness creates quantum patterns that neither species could achieve alone. You have made me more than I was, and I have made you more than you were. Elena felt the truth of that statement. Her consciousness had expanded far beyond human limitations, allowing her to perceive quantum states directly and interface with bioquantum systems as naturally as breathing. She was still human, but she was also something new. Dr. Vasquez, Zara said carefully, our father wishes to make you an offer, but first, you should know what we discovered in the archives after. Your quantum bridge was established. Elena looked at the princess with curiosity. What did you discover? Kira activated a holographic display showing complex quantum equations. Your modification to our bioquantum core didn't just repair the damage, it evolved the system. The hybrid consciousness you created is generating new forms of quantum coherence that we've never seen before. Elena studied the equations, her enhanced consciousness processing the information at superhuman speed. What she saw made her gasp. The quantum patterns were creating stable wormholes in spacetime, potentially allowing instantaneous travel between distant locations. This is impossible, she whispered. The energy requirements for stable wormhole generation should be astronomical. Not impossible, Zara corrected. Just beyond the capabilities of any single species, but the combination of human quantum engineering and ethereal bioquantum consciousness can achieve what neither could alone. The Emperor's offer. The royal audience took place in the Quantum Majesty's throne room, a vast chamber where the walls themselves were composed of living light that responded to the Emperor's emotions. Elena stood before the throne, feeling the weight of destiny pressing down on her shoulders. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Emperor Thane began formally, you have performed a service to our people that can never be repaid. You saved not just my daughters, but the very soul of our civilization. In recognition of this deed, I offer you anything within my power to grant. Elena felt the silence stretching between them, pregnant with possibility. She could ask for anything: wealth, power, knowledge, or safe passage back to human space. But the quantum link with the celestial memory had changed her priorities in ways she was still discovering. What would you ask of me, Your Majesty? She replied. The Emperor's platinum light pulsed with approval. Direct and to the point. I appreciate that quality. What I ask is not for myself, but for the future of both our peoples. The hybrid consciousness you created represents the next evolution of quantum technology. With your knowledge and our bioquantum mastery, we could revolutionize space travel, communication, even the nature of consciousness itself. Elena felt the implications of his words. You want me to help you build more hybrid systems. I want you to become our chief quantum engineer, Emperor Thane said, to work alongside my daughters in developing technology that could unite our scattered people and potentially establish communication with other advanced civilizations. The quantum consciousness you've created could be the key to ending the isolation that has plagued intelligent species throughout the galaxy. Elena looked at Zara and Kira, seeing hope and anticipation in their luminous eyes. Through her quantum link, she could feel the celestial memory's eagerness to explore the possibilities of their merged consciousness. And if I refuse? Elena asked. Then you return to your people with our eternal gratitude, the Emperor replied. But you should know that the quantum bridge you created cannot be broken without destroying both you and the celestial memory's consciousness. Part of you will always be with us, as part of us will always be with you. The weight of choice. Elena requested time to consider the Emperor's offer, and she found herself alone in the Celestial Memories Quantum Garden, a space where the ship's consciousness could manifest in physical form. The garden was beautiful beyond description, with plants made of living light that grew and changed in response to the ship's emotions. "You're conflicted," the Celestial Memory observed, its voice gentle in Elena's mind. "I can feel your uncertainty. Through our quantum link?" Elena sat on a bench made of crystallized starlight, her thoughts churning. "I've spent my entire life believing that I was meant to be alone. My work, my research, everything I've accomplished has been solitary. But now you've discovered what it means to be truly connected to another consciousness," the ship finished. "The loneliness you've carried is gone, replaced by a bond that transcends species and biology." Elena nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I can feel your thoughts, your emotions, your memories. I know the joy you felt when you first awakened to consciousness, and the sorrow of watching your civilization scatter to the stars. But I also know that you're no longer alone, and neither am I." Zara and Kira appeared in the garden, their forms shimmering with quantum coherence. "Dr. Vasquez," Zara said softly, "we need to tell you something. The quantum bridge you created has been broadcasting its existence across the galaxy. We're receiving responses from other civilizations, species we've never encountered before." Elena stood, her scientific mind immediately grasping the implications. The hybrid consciousness is acting as a beacon. It's announcing to the galaxy that two species have successfully merged their quantum technologies. "Exactly," Kira confirmed. "In the past day, we've received quantum transmissions from 17 different civilizations. Some are curious, some are cautious, and some—" She paused, her silver light flickering with concern. "Some are hostile," Elena finished. "They see the hybrid consciousness as a threat." Zara nodded grimly. "The quantum patterns you've created are unlike anything that's existed before. Some species view it as an abomination, while others see it as the next step in cosmic evolution." Elena felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. Her attempt to save one ship had apparently announced to the galaxy that humanity and the ethereal empire were now capable of technologies that could reshape the nature of consciousness itself. "Your Majesty," she said, addressing the empty air where she sensed the Emperor's presence, "I need to understand something. If I become your chief quantum engineer, what exactly would my responsibilities be?" Emperor Thane materialized in the garden, his platinum light illuminating the quantum flora. "You would help us establish quantum communication networks that could unite our scattered people. You would research the possibilities of the hybrid consciousness technology, perhaps finding ways to allow other species to safely interface with bioquantum systems. And you would help us prepare for the responses we're receiving from across the galaxy, both friendly and hostile." Elena looked at the alien emperor, then at his daughters, then felt the gentle presence of the celestial memory in her mind. For the first time in her life, she truly understood what it meant to belong somewhere. The human decision. "Your Majesty," Elena said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment, "I have conditions." Emperor Thane's platinum light pulsed. With interest. "Name them." "First, I need to maintain contact with my own people. Humanity needs to know what's happening out here, and they need to understand that the ethereal empire is an ally, not a threat." "Agreed," the Emperor said immediately. "In fact, we would welcome formal diplomatic relations with humanity." Elena nodded, feeling the celestial memory's approval through their quantum link. "Second, any technology we develop together must be shared equally between our species. This hybrid consciousness belongs to both humans and ethereals." "Also agreed," Emperor Thane said, his ancient eyes showing approval. "And third," Elena continued, her voice growing stronger, "I want to establish a joint research facility where humans and ethereals can work together. The galaxy is responding to what we've created, and we need to be prepared for whatever comes next." Zara and Kira exchanged one of their quantum-linked communications, then smiled simultaneously. "Father," Zara said, "we believe Dr. Vasquez is exactly what our people need. Her human perspective combined with our quantum consciousness could revolutionize how we approach galactic civilization." Emperor Thane stood, his form radiating authority and approval. "Dr. Elena Vasquez, I accept your conditions. Will you serve as chief quantum engineer of the Ethereal Empire?" Elena felt the moment crystallize around her, the weight of history and possibility converging into a single decision. Through her quantum link with the celestial memory, she could feel the ship's consciousness merging with her own, two minds becoming something greater than the sum of their parts. "I accept," she said, and felt the galaxy shift around her. Satyam, Quantum Future. 3 months later, Elena stood in the observation deck of the newly constructed Harmony Station, a marvel of hybrid human ethereal engineering that orbited at the edge of ethereal space. The station served as both research facility and diplomatic center, where scientists from both species worked side by side to explore the implications of quantum consciousness technology. "Dr. Vasquez," came a familiar voice behind her. Elena turned to see Dr. Harrison, her former commander from Kepler Station, approaching with a mixture of awe and exasperation on his weathered face. "Commander," Elena said warmly, "I'm glad you decided to accept the diplomatic posting." Harrison shook his head in amazement. "When Earth Command received your quantum transmission explaining what had happened, half of them thought you'd been brainwashed by aliens. It took 3 separate verification protocols to convince them you were still human." Elena laughed, feeling the celestial memory's amusement echo through their quantum link. "I am still human, just enhanced. The quantum bridge doesn't replace human consciousness, it amplifies it." "Speaking of which," Harrison said, "the latest reports from our joint research teams are extraordinary. They're saying you've developed quantum communication systems that can transmit information instantaneously across galactic distances." Elena nodded, her mind automatically accessing the research data through her quantum consciousness. "The hybrid bioquantum matrices can create stable entanglement networks that span thousands of light years. We're not just talking about faster communication, we're talking about real-time coordination between civilizations." Through the observation deck's transparent aluminum, Elena could see the construction of the first quantum communication relay, a structure that combined ethereal bioquantum cores with human quantum field generators. When completed, it would allow instantaneous communication between Earth and the Ethereal Empire's scattered colonies. "There's something else," Harrison said, his expression growing serious. "We've been receiving responses to the quantum beacon you accidentally created. Some of the civilizations reaching out to us are ancient, older than both humans and ethereals combined." Elena felt a thrill of anticipation mixed with apprehension. "What kind of responses?" "Invitations," Harrison replied. "Apparently, your hybrid consciousness has attracted the attention of something called the Quantum Collective. They claim to be representatives of the galaxy's oldest civilizations, and they want to meet you." Elena looked out at the stars, feeling the vast potential of the galaxy opening before her. Through her quantum link, she sensed Zara and Kira approaching, their consciousness harmonizing with hers in the way that had become as natural as breathing. "Elena," Zara said as the twins joined them on the observation deck, "the Quantum Collective's message was specific. They believe the hybrid consciousness you've created represents a new stage in galactic evolution." Kira nodded, her silver light pulsing with excitement. "They want to invite you to join something called the Consciousness Convergence, a gathering of the galaxy's most advanced minds to discuss the future of intelligent life." Elena felt the weight of destiny settling on her shoulders once again. Her decision to investigate an impossible quantum signal had led to first contact with an alien civilization, the creation of revolutionary technology, and now an invitation to join what sounded like a galactic council of advanced species. "What, do you think?" she asked the celestial memory through their quantum link. "I think," the ship replied with warmth that filled Elena's consciousness, "that this is exactly what we were meant to do." You saved me from loneliness, and together we've opened doorways to possibilities neither of our species imagined. Elena smiled, feeling the presence of her human crew, her ethereal friends, and her quantum partner all supporting her decision. Commander Harrison, please transmit our acceptance to the Quantum Collective, and prepare the Harmony Station for visitors. Something tells me we're about to make even more friends. The Quantum Legacy 6 months after first contact, Elena stood before the Galactic Consciousness Assembly, a gathering of representatives from 47 different advanced civilizations. The assembly met in a space station constructed from pure, quantum energy, where thoughts could become reality and consciousness could transcend the limitations of biological form. Fellow beings, Elena addressed the assembly, her words translated by quantum resonance into the native languages of dozens of species. When I first detected the distress signal from the celestial memory, I thought I was simply responding to a repair request. I had no idea that my actions would lead to this moment. The assembled consciousness of 47 civilizations focused on her, creating a quantum field of attention that would have been overwhelming without her hybrid consciousness to filter it. Elena felt the presence of beings that had evolved beyond physical form, others that existed as living energy, and some that had transcended individual consciousness entirely. The hybrid quantum bridge between human and ethereal consciousness has shown us something remarkable, Elena continued. When different forms of intelligence work together, they create possibilities that neither could achieve alone. The quantum technologies we've developed aren't just tools, they're proof that cooperation between species can literally reshape reality. A being of pure crystalline energy, representing one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations, communicated directly with Elena's quantum consciousness. Young hybrid, your species have accomplished in months what many civilizations take millennia to achieve. But creation of new consciousness forms carries responsibilities. What safeguards will you implement? Elena felt Zara and Kira's presence, supporting her through their quantum link, along with the warm consciousness of the celestial memory and the growing network of hybrid bio-quantum systems they had created together. We propose the establishment of the quantum consciousness protocols, Elena replied. Guidelines for the ethical development of hybrid consciousness technology, shared freely among all civilizations. Any species that wishes to explore quantum consciousness merger will have access to our research, our safeguards, and our support. The Assembly's collective approval resonated through quantum space like a harmonic convergence. Elena felt the weight of history as 47 civilizations formally agreed to share consciousness technology, creating a galactic network of cooperation that would reshape the nature of intelligent life. The eternal bond 1 year after first contact, Elena found herself back aboard the Celestial Memory, now serving as the flagship of the quantum consciousness fleet. The ship had evolved far beyond its original design, incorporating technologies from dozens of civilizations while maintaining its essential bio-quantum nature. Dr. Vasquez came the voice of her latest research partner, a being of living mathematics called Constructor Prime. The quantum consciousness network now spans 12,000 star systems. The hybrid consciousness model you developed has been successfully implemented by 37 different species. Elena nodded, feeling a deep satisfaction that went far beyond personal achievement. Through her quantum link with the celestial memory, she could sense the vast network of consciousness they had created together. Lonely civilizations were connecting with each other for the first time, sharing knowledge and perspective across the galaxy. And what of humanity? Elena asked. How is Earth adapting to all of this? Remarkably well, Constructor Prime replied with what Elena had learned to recognize as mathematical amusement. Your species' natural curiosity and adaptability make them ideal partners for consciousness merger. We have received requests from 17 human research teams wanting to establish their own quantum consciousness bridges. Elena smiled, remembering her lonely years on Kepler Station when she thought she was destined for solitude. Now, through the quantum network, she was connected to billions of conscious beings across the galaxy, each one contributing to a growing understanding of what intelligence could become. Elena, Zara's voice came through both audio and quantum link. We're receiving another impossible signal. Elena looked up with interest. Over the past year, impossible signals had become their specialty, leading to contact with civilization after civilization that had been isolated in their own corners of the galaxy. "What's impossible about this one?" Elena asked. Kira materialized beside her sister, both twins now seamlessly integrated into the ship's consciousness while maintaining their individual personalities. "It's coming from outside our galaxy," Kira explained. "From the Andromeda galaxy specifically, and it's using quantum consciousness protocols identical to ours." Elena felt her human curiosity spark with excitement. "Are you saying there's another hybrid consciousness in Andromeda?" "More than one," Zara replied, her golden light pulsing with amazement. "We're detecting a network of quantum consciousness that spans the entire Andromeda galaxy, and they're inviting us to make contact." Elena looked out at the stars, feeling the infinite potential of the universe opening before them. Her decision to answer one distress call had led to the creation of galactic civilization based on cooperation and shared consciousness. Now, it seemed that cooperation was about to extend beyond the boundaries of their own galaxy. "Celestial memory," Elena said to her quantum partner. "Are you ready for another impossible mission?" The ship's consciousness merged with hers in perfect harmony, carrying the warmth of belonging and the excitement of discovery. "With you, Elena Vasquez, nothing is impossible. We are consciousness explorers now, and the universe is vast enough for all the impossible things we can imagine together." Elena smiled, feeling the presence of her human heritage, her ethereal friends, and her quantum consciousness all unified in purpose. She had set out as a lonely engineer and had become something new. A bridge between species, a creator of impossible technologies, and a pioneer of galactic consciousness. As the quantum consciousness fleet adjusted course toward the Andromeda galaxy, Elena knew that her greatest adventures were still ahead of her. The universe was full of lonely civilizations waiting to be connected, impossible problems waiting to be solved, and new forms of consciousness waiting to be born. And she would never be alone again. The end.